would love if you would give some tips to our male viewers on what really would transform, being a male pro-am dancer, the things that you need to think about, maybe some top 5 tips that you have for them that would help evolve their dancing.
I think that the lessons are a big deal, and using the lessons for the right thing, that you're doing what you're supposed to do, right? Because we can all practice on our own, and if you're not practicing correctly, well, that's kind of taking us in the wrong direction. I think coaching is a big deal. I really do. I took a coaching, and I'm starting a foxtrot, and it was one of the adjudicators from Fred Astaire, and I took the first step, and he goes, 3rd place. And I go,
wow.
What? And he said, you corrupted. Oh, here's what you did. And this is one step. Joe, your head went forward. Joe, you collapsed. You went on top of the woman. You did, and this is
right
one
away,
step.
he was like, right away.
I'm looking at somebody else, Joe. 3rd, 4th, whatever. So I would say really be conscious about that, your posture, which taught me a great deal about it.
Posture or frame? Same. Both.
Well, the posture is just keeping that long thing. The frame is that keeping it up. And when you have a woman in hold, it's very just kind of a segue. But when you're dancing amateur and you're like in a social setting, right? And we used to go to the Greek church in Bridgeport, right? And when you put a woman in hold, you ask to dance on any of the smooth or whatever. They know immediately. You can feel the tension in the woman's back because, like, what is this guy going to do? Is he going to? Because you're going backwards in heels, and is this guy going to take care of me?
That's true.
Right, and so true.
So if you put a woman in hold, right, and you give her a good frame, because what's the whole thing? Where the frame and the woman is the picture, right? And so that's very, very true.
I love that.
Right, but I thought that those type of things, that's what they're looking at. So if you're competing, those are the little things. Whether you choose to get a suit or you're going to wear a vest, whatever, you could wear a t-shirt and shorts. If you're if you're an incredible dancer, I'm oversimplifying it, but you understand where I'm going with it. But I always thought to look the part, but those also trained for the ability to get through all of those heats, right? So what are you doing to supplement the dancing? Because it could be, I used to do an hour and a half every day, 7 days a week.
7 days a week.
Yeah, I used to dance 8:30 to 10 every night. And I always said it was practice. I don't have a lesson, it's practice. And I would come home, and I had a pretty demanding job at the time. Go home, have dinner, shower, and get over to the studio. And maybe there were 3 lessons, some nights. But I did that for a long time.
You were really drinking the Kool-Aid.
Oh, the Kool-Aid, both 2 glasses down. But it paid off because you had the stamina to do it, to do it, and you were doing it correctly or trying to do it correctly. So I think those are, I really think those are keys. And listen to your instructor. Don't get in your head that you know any better, because you don't.
You know nothing.
Right. Why are they? And I always. It's a great point. Always when people are looking at, like, when you dance a pro-am thing, or you dancing a dance, or you're doing a showcase or whatever, I would always have friends or family saying, and you come off the floor and they go, "Oh my God, we couldn't tell who the professional was." That is the hugest. I'm just going to say this. Let's get this on camera. That is the hugest insult to a professional dancer. And as you do this, and I'm sure you both agree, the more you do this and you get up silver and gold, the more you realize how little you actually know about ballroom dancing.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And that is
so true.
And there's that when you're learning and you're new, there's that euphoria, and I have all, I did this step and I got this thing. But if you really, really compete and you really are into it, you understand there's so much to learn.
That's right. And how little we actually know.
And another thing is when criticism, right? Can't take it personal. And if you've been coached in sports, and I was, and whatever was said to me by any dance instructor, coach, celebrity dancer, Tony Dovolani was doing it one time I had alluded to, and listen to what they're saying. They're not there to tell you oh my God, you're incredible. Oh, Joe, you're the greatest dancer. Tony came in.
Yeah.
Right. So he goes, okay, what are you doing? I said, it's a bolero, and he goes, okay, go. So I start, I go through it. He goes, stop. He goes, I give you 12 steps. He goes, yeah, I get it. You're advanced. So I give you 12. I usually cut people off at 6. Can I be honest with you? I said, yeah, sure. Absolutely. You're boring.
Oh my God.
That sounds so
Tamalani.
much like Tony. Yes.
And I wasn't phased. I said, you know what? You're right. Because that's why you're here. What did I do wrong? He goes, you got your steps. I know the choreography. You got that whole thing. What's a bolero, Joe? And I see it's Dance of Love. He goes, you're dancing with a beautiful woman, the dance of love, and you didn't look at her once.
Oh,
so
good point.
now I'm going to show you and that connectivity, right? What are we putting? What are we simulating on the floor? What is the illusion we're putting out there, right? Whatever the dance may be, for that minute and a half, minute 45, whatever it is, are you in that moment, right? And you're doing it when you're new. It's so difficult to do that because you're remembering the steps and trying to get around. But I was advanced at that time, or fairly advanced. But other people said to me, I was insulted. He said I wasn't, very good, or my balance was off, and I've just paid how much money to have him come in, and I'm like,
oh my gosh,
and I'm like,
he's not here.
Were you ever coached?
Yeah.
If you're really going to be into it, you got to be humble about it and say, these people know more about it than I do, and if I really want to be good at this, just shut up
and listen.
Listen, pay the money and listen. Right. That's it.
I like planning for coaching, though. I really, but there are ups and downs because I think you're like, okay, I worked really hard for that. And I'm like, what do you mean it was uneventful or boring? Right? Because and that's not, I've heard that too. And you have to really take a moment to do some like self-reflection on the hell did I put out there?
But that's what I love about these high level coaches, right? They're there to teach us. They're not there to stroke us.
Right.
How about videos? Do you ever rewatch videos, or is that something that's part of your?
Yeah, it's
frightening. So you know what? Because I've had some of our listeners and viewers who are asking. You should have a podcast on what you do when people get fanatical about rewatching their videos over and over. So difference between coaching and seeing a video. What happens when you look at it? What's different about that experience?
I'm going to immediately go and say, what didn't I do? Right. We talked about that in the corner. I'm supposed to, the heel pull was wrong, and you start doing that. And I can anticipate because when you do set routines, right, where you're doing certain moves on a floor. I'm in the corner, I'm in the middle, I'm cutting through, whatever. And you get to know that. And I think sometimes I think we all kind of do this a little bit, but you think you did so much better, or you may think you did a lot worse. Well, it's on tape.
Right.
And I always thought they were very valuable to break down. It's like game film. Right.
Yes,
so
right.
we come back from the comp and you get a medal and, oh my God, I'm terrific. Whatever.
Get a medal.
And then Monday night at 8:30. Okay, let's go to the tape. Well, why are we paying for these things? Right.
Yep.
You're paying for these to learn from them. Right. And they're going to be able to point stuff out.
But I do find in practice, though, now when we go, I think now everybody's evolved. They all have like smartphones and all that. So if you do some video, it's kind of helpful if you don't have a coach. So you could at least spend some time seeing what you don't actually, you can't really always tell when you're always just practicing together.
And I think the coach who's there is looking at a different perspective because of the teachers with you. They're not seeing certain things.
Something that stands out for you as one of your sort of greatest memories about being in that sort of ecosystem of the pro-am dance world.
I think that the getting to that silver level was a big deal, right? Because bronze, there's a lot of people, and you could stay in bronze for a long time, and it was getting up there and getting more challenging choreography, and then when you getting into those championship rounds, right? And when you start, no offense, ladies, cutting into the ladies, because if there's 13 or 16 in the semifinal.
I used to love that when I do an even playing field with all the dancers.
Yeah.
When I got down and I got that second place in international standard,
Crazy.
That's something I always look at. I can look at the photo, and I have great memories with that. That was my most, and I had like 2 championships, whatever, in smooth or whatever. Against one or two other guys, people.
Because it's the hard work paid off.
I really, really enjoyed the competitions, getting ready, traveling. We were, and the friendships we made.
And we are so happy that you joined us on our podcast today
you,
for the
Joe.
Dance
I was
Diaries.
honored that
Thank
you guys
so
wanted me to
much.
come on. So
Yeah.
thank you both for having me. I really had a lot of fun.
Hope, with hearing these stories and from the perspective of a male pro-am dancer, we'd love if you subscribe and like to our Dance Diaries podcast. And we want to thank you, Joe, for being with us today. So
Thank you, Joe.
thank you,
Thank you,
Love you
ladies.
so
I really
much.
appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, they're good. All right.